Good evening, and may heaven smile upon you. I am the Demon Slayer, as they call the Demon Slayer, the Go Getter, um, the chosen um, apostle of this time, of this age. I decided to step out and to do something different and to start doing motivational speaking on elaborating on my lifestyle of where I've been and learning things through experience, through knowing who God is. Today, I'm going to talk from experience of being alone. I've got in a secret place and was able to do a little studying, a little jotting down. And I realized that people battle with some situations of being alone in their life. And what I've come to the understanding is if I can encourage some people out there, I want you to know that you need to understand that there's nothing wrong with being alone. And a lot of us, we fight being alone. We fight being single. We don't enjoy the feel of being single. We don't enjoy the feel of being hurt. We don't enjoy the feel of being alone. So we invite folk now to come over, any and everybody, even if we don't like them. We still invite them over to come over just to avoid what we've been through, just to keep things off of our mind, because we understand that the battlefield is in our mind, and we understand that if Satan have gotten a hold to our mind, then he can corrupt our flesh. But the truth is, first of all, you must understand that it's important to be alone sometimes. Why do you say that? Why do you say that, Adam? Because when you are alone, you discover, you start understanding who God is. And you start understanding the plan that God has for you. You can't understand who God is in a crowded arena. You must note here, if I can talk to some folk out here, that when God spoke to Jacob, he was left alone. He was out alone. When God called Abraham, he was alone. When God dealt with Moses, he was alone on the backside of the mountain. It was always when God had these people that they were by themselves. They didn't have nobody around them, but they were alone. And this is when God reveals himself to people, when you are alone. Now, watch this. God did not show Mary really what Mary had in a crowded place with her girlfriends. No, he didn't. But when the angel showed up, he said, "Hail Mary, you have been highly favored amongst women." Mary was by herself. You must understand, I want you to understand this right here. Whenever anything significant happens to you in a spiritual capacity, it happens when you're all by yourself. It's when you're not in a crowd of people. It's when you're not around people that God begins to mold you and begins to remind you of the purpose and the plan that he has for your life. When you don't have distractions, when you are not dealing with certain circumstances that you are normally used to dealing with. But the question is can God get you all by yourself? You understand that life gets so cluttered with people and things and objects that sometimes people put things on you, but most of the time you have put a lot of this stuff on yourself because you fight being alone, and now you have a crowd around you and you don't know who God is because all of these folks are around you telling you this and telling you that, and girl, you should do this, and girl, you can do better, and boy, you need to find somebody else. And if the shoe fit, then wear it, and if the shoe don't fit, and if it got too small for you, then take it off and find somebody else. But this is where distraction comes in, and you don't really know who you are. But I want to focus your attention to this right here, self-discovery. First of all, in order to have self-discovery, you have to have self-privacy, meaning being by yourself. You need moments of reflection. Another term for reflection is meditation. Not talking about levitation, but a simple meditation, a calm, quiet place now where I can get to myself all by myself with no friends, no pastor, no children, no nobody, but I can get to a quiet place where he that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadows of the Almighty God. So now that I'm in this secret place and can't nobody find me, and I'm alone in the wilderness, God can reveal some things in my reflecting on what I just came out of. So me being married before, as I sit down and counsel people now, I will tell people who are married now through counsel, before you snatch somebody else, before you decide to move on, you need to take a little time period and you need to evaluate some things. You need to look at some things. First of all, you need to look at it. What you need to look at is that, what did I do? What was my problem? What was my downfall? What was my pitfall? So you don't go in this complex and keep on inviting the same troubles in your life, for things to keep on recurring over and over and over again. You keep getting the same type of person and you keep getting the same type of results. You keep putting so much in to get so little out, and your circumstances are not changing because God ain't changing. You trying to change your circumstance and God ain't changing. The only way your circumstance can change is that God changes your circumstance. So now I got to be alone. You got to understand that there's nothing wrong with being alone. Because you already know what was wrong with you. But you have to figure out what was the contribute, what was the conflict that you contributed to the situation. Because you got to understand here, you must understand here that you played a part in the conflict. The conflict just wasn't a one-sided story. It was something that you did. You had played a problem in it too. And you got to understand that you need time to be alone so you can do that. But the problem is that you haven't taken time alone to really evaluate what you did in a situation for the outcome to become damaging. It ain't just a one-sided thing when you're in a relationship. As a fact, we purposely go out and we get stuff to fill up all these gaps. In our life till we have nothing else to do. So now we become busy. Now we take the children on trips. Now we're running to the church every Sunday morning, every Wednesday evening, prayer meeting on Friday. We're running to try to keep ourselves busy. I gotta get there. I got to go. I got to do this and I got to do that. But I never had time alone. So now I don't know who God really is. And I don't know who I am really. I haven't had time to identify who I am. I haven't had time to understand God's plan for me. I haven't had time enough to understand His purpose. I haven't had time enough to understand His provision He has for my life. All I can see is what I feel like I want, or what I desire, or what I'm worth, or what I'm not going to put up. All I have that had the time for is to think on these things that are around me. But I can't handle these things. What God sent me that was painful to me, that was in sin, I can't handle it. I can't handle it because I don't know how to deal with it, because I'm still trying to deal with myself. But I haven't taken out time to get by myself with nobody around me. I haven't had time to get in the secret place because now I'm just busy on the move. I'm going here and I'm going there and I'm keeping my mind active because I don't want the devil to distract my mind. Now I say I don't have time for this and I don't have time for that. So I don't really know who I am. And now I'm not suitable for nobody. I'm not suitable to be no helpmeet. Because now if I haven't made time for myself, you must understand, warning. It's a warning sign. If you ain't made time for yourself to get to get intimate with yourself, to get intimate with God, how are you going to make time for me when you don't even know who you are? You don't even know really who God is. But now time alone makes you see who God is. Second of all, it makes you see who you are. Third thing is it makes you see what will fit you. You'll know what will fit you when you understand and God can identify who you are and you can identify who God is. So now you understand what is suitable for you, where your sweet spot is, and what works now for you when you have taken that time alone. But you got to take this season of operating when God does operation on you, and He changes some things about you, and He lets you know what your downfall was and your mishaps were, because you had some things that was going on too. Because the Bible said, "He without sin let them cast the first stone." So now I'm battling being alone. So without you must understand this. It's like women out there, you shop for a husband you shop for just like you shopping for a dress. Yeah, you don't know exactly what you're looking for. So now that a salesman have came to approach you, they're the first thing that they ask you, they say, may I help you? And your answer is no. Then they become more persistent. And they say, is there a certain color or a certain preference that you're looking like? And your answer is no. And then they keep on going, they stay persistent. And then the next thing that they ask you, they say, well, we just got this in. Maybe you want to try this. And you said, no, I'm just looking. I'll know what it is that I want when I see it. And yes, that may be true. That may be true when it comes down to a dress. But if that is truth about when it comes down to a dress, and you can tell just by looking, well, the question that I have to the media today, and being alone, what does a wife beater look like? Tell me, what does a child molester look like? Tell me, what does an irresponsible, you can't count on me, I'll never be there for you, mama's boy look like? The point that I'm trying to make is that you can't tell what's in a car by looking at the wax job on the outside of the car.